My name is Fran Clifton. I'm the head gardener at Sir Harold Hillier Gardens in Hampshire. And you're fully aware, of course, that with Hillier Garden Centres having all the multitude of plants that were available, here at the gardens we actually stick them in the ground and see what happens to them. 180 acres of beautiful landscape gardens, and part of this is the winter garden. The concept of the winter garden was started in the late 90s. Previously to this, it was just an open field with arboretum planting, but actually in the darker winter months where nobody comes and sees anything, we thought, why not create a winter garden? Magical world of plants with colour, texture, scent, and of course the colour of flowers, but also the stem colour, the bark, the twigs. Everything has a different appearance in the winter months. Now here we are in the middle of one of the classic winter combinations. A little bit of evergreen with one of the thuyas. I'm surrounded by the red-stemmed Cornus siberica, and of course in the background you can just see the tail end of the spring-flowering Prunus incisa. This is a dwarf variety with twisted branches and beautiful texture in wintertime, and offsetting the whole combination, this trio is one of the kind of highlights you can have in your garden. You don't need 10, you don't need 20, you can just have one of each and you make this mini winter garden. Now if any of you like the more snazzy colours of bright oranges or blacks even, I'm standing here right in the middle of a combination of beautiful mahogany coloured Prunus cerula, the Tibetan cherry, which is just gorgeous, which is very peeling bark and extraordinarily smooth trunk there. Around me is the New Zealand Libertia peregrinans, which is sort of a grass-like texture, white flowers in springtime, but the real treasure is then in winter when it turns bright orange. And that, of course, contrasts very well with the Ophiopogon, the black grass as it's referred to very often. And amongst this, of course, is the Hamamelis, one of the winter stars with good colours. So you can get the very bright yellow ones or the very warm ones like Barmstead Gold. Germin's Gold is another one which was, of course, bred here at the gardens and has a connection to us. Arnold's Promise is a good one too. Of course, if you want to more go in the orange colours, that would be then Jelena. That's another very pretty colour indeed. Now, another element of the winter garden, beside all the kind of flowers and the bark and the scent, of course, is shapes. So anything which has a very clean cut in it makes just a stark contrast with something else, which is really good. So we're using here the very ordinary box plant. Once a year clipping for us does the tricks. They're quite sharp. If you like it more loosely but still almost self-shaping, you could go for something like Pittosporum. Pittosporum golf ball is a good one. It's a dwarf, it's compact. You can still clip it a little bit if it gets out of hand, but it's pretty much self-shaping as a, well, the name suggests, a golf ball. Now this one here is Cornus. Cornus Midwinter Fire or Cornus Midwinter Flame you can get as well. Fiery colour, yellows, oranges, reds right to the tips. To get this intense colour, which I'm standing in now, you have to cut it down all the way to the ground, literally about 2 inches off the ground at the end of March. So timing with a winter garden is key to retain your colour and your shape. This is one of the stars of the dwarfs, I would call it. Absolutely superb Picea. There are a huge range of conifers out there, a lot of them quite dwarf. So for the small garden, it's ideal. These ones here are 25 years old. So anything where you can accommodate a little conifer is lovely. Birds love it again, and any winter creature which wants to hide away can go right inside, which is lovely. But the small gardens, you don't need 4 acres for a winter garden. In your own garden, you can achieve the same kind of sense of winter scene with just 1 plant or 2 plants. To my feet, I've got some heathers here, which are lovely, easy going. That's the last nectar source for the bees and bumblebees, so very good for wildlife as well. And of course, yet another Cornus here in the background with his very nice straight stems. But a small garden can achieve just as much of a winter landscape as we do on a big scale, but in a much smaller scale. So colour in winter is really important. We're used to oodles of colour in summertime along the borders and the beds. They're overflowing with colour, but winter is really special to have something flowering. Now this one here is a camellia, one of the early ones, Camellia sasanqua Crimson King. Beautiful single flowers, the golden anthers inside with pollen sacs, absolutely delightful. Hellebores are another one of those little treasures you could have in your winter garden, and you don't need much space for it. They could even hug in under a tree or shrub and just come up as you want them in winter time when nothing else comes about. Behind me is a deciduous ilex, but this one here is the real star of the show here. Beautiful little hellebore, and you can get a multitude of varieties. You can get either for the plain white ones, of course, which are delightful, or there are some of the orientalis hybrids, which are dark red or maroon or even slate coloured flowers. Some are spotted, some are yellow. A huge variety. Personally, I go for the white ones. Now this is a lovely plant, a little bit on the spiky side, but you'll forgive the plant for all the benefits it's got. It's Mahonia, and the scent is incredible. This plant here with us at the Arboretum is a good 40 years old, and it is rather tall, but actually Mahonias are so easy to deal with. At the end of flowering, you can literally just cut the whole thing down, a bit like coppicing, to about knee height, and it will all come back up again. Easy. What you get for it is a lovely evergreen shrub, loads of texture. Birds love it to go in because predators don't go into this spiky nest of leaves. And of course you get these lovely flowers, which are really sort of the heralding the winter in and telling of the autumn. And you get this cloud of scent coming out. It's a good texture plant. You can plant other things in front of it. So Mahonia is definitely a plant for the winter garden. I hope we've given you inspiration for your own garden and that you really cherish the winter season as you would your summer season. There is so much colour, so much texture. Really keen to get us outside and enjoy the outdoors, be it gardening or just walking around in the garden. So come and see us at Sir Harold Hillier Gardens in Hampshire for a quick trip out, get your winter fix on plants and enjoy the colours.